have a collect call from. Press 1 to accept charges.
Hey you guys, it's the Queen Carter and you're tuned in to Press One Podcast, and today I have a special guest by the name of Dartrell Smith. How you doing, Dartrell Smith?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. What about you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking.
That's good.
So let us know a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Dartrell Smith. I'm from a small town called Narco, about 15 miles out of New Orleans. So I grew up pretty rough background. Childhood was like really, really rough. Never had a father figure, just like every other average black child, especially from the struggle that never had a fatherhood. You know, like I fell victim to the streets, so I had a rough upbringing, a really, really rough upbringing.
So did you have a two-parent home or?
Well, as far back as I can remember, I had a stepdad, and I used to get abused a lot. He used to abuse me a lot, you know. And he was around for maybe a couple of years till I was about, I'm going to say 9. Then he left, and I just had a mom after that. One-parent household after that.
So you said he used to physically abuse you, so did he just like hit you and stuff?
Yeah, and that's all the memories I have, like my childhood memories. That's all I remember is like getting abused, and I think that contributed a lot to me having anger issues. You know, it made me angry. You know, I had anger issues and kind of got attracted to the streets. You know, so
How many siblings do you have?
I have well, that I grew up with on my mother's side, I have 2 brothers and a sister. And also on my daddy's side, I have 2 brothers and a sister. On my mom's side, I'm the baby. On my dad's side, I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many grew up in the home with you?
4. Altogether, it was 4 of us.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
altogether.
you said you had a rough like upbringing. So did that affect you a lot in school?
Yeah, it did, because I remember being a lot younger. I'm going to say like 1st and 2nd grade, I still can remember that. And I had A's, like A's. Every now and then I get a B, but I was on the honor roll, like A's and B's. And like a couple of years after that, I remember like struggling with school, like struggling, not being able to pay attention. And then one time I fell, not even because of my grades, but because of my behavior. So I was acting out in a lot of ways, and looking back, I probably was like streaming out for attention, like as a child, but I didn't know that then. But now looking back, I probably was like crying out for attention. Yeah, I think so.
So did the school ever try to assist you with any type of like help?
Yeah, they did. I had counselors talking to me, but I mean, at that time, especially being young and being an African American, I thought it was normal what I was going through, because some of my peers was going through the same thing. So I thought it was normal. And, you know, I thought being a man was being tough, so I just had to be tough and bottle it all in. And, you know, so that's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
So at what age do you feel like you started like kind of having trouble in school?
I got to say maybe like 8 or 9, something like that. Like really young. 9, I'm gonna say 9 or 10, around that time.
What kind of trouble?
Well, it started off like talking back in class, like talking back to the teacher. I skipped class a few times, then it escalated to like fighting in school. One time I got caught, and this was like later on down the line, but it kept escalating. One time I got caught, like I was selling drugs at the school, in elementary school. Like this, I think I was in the 6th grade at the time, and somebody ratted on me, told on me, and the dude that told on me, I beat him up. So I wound up getting in more trouble after that, and going to the detention center for about maybe 30 days, something like that.
And then like how did it continue on? Were you able to graduate and finish school?
Well, I went back to I was going to court school, alternative school. That's like when you get expelled from school. I was going to alternative school. And after I finished alternative school, I went back to middle school. But the furthest I made it in school was the beginning of the 8th grade, and then I got into some more trouble. So, yeah.
What kind of trouble?
Well, again, I was in the streets real heavy at this time, and I got an armed robbery and attempted murder charge.
Oh, okay. How old were you?
I was 15. Yeah, I was 15. So I was in the 8th grade, the beginning of my 8th grade year. So they tried me as an adult. They wanted to give me 18 years, but they wound up giving me 15 years.
Okay, so how did that situation happen?
Well, it was me and somebody, I ain't gonna say his name, but somebody I look up to, and I looked it up to at the time. He was like my role model. And we was together, and at the time, I just wanted money. I was young, but I was kind of living fast, so I wanted money. I was moving around a lot, so I wanted a car. And I was asking my mom for a car. She didn't want to buy me a car, so I was like, forget it, I'm going to get my own car. So I just went like on a robbing spree, and I just started robbing people. So it was me and my cousin. Yeah, we was trying to like rob some people to get some money or whatever. And what happened was I was just head first. So I tried to rob somebody. It didn't fall through. I shot at him a couple of times. And, you know, it went on. I didn't get physically caught, but somebody told on me. And that's how I wound up getting caught. So
they like reported it, and then you got caught like down the line. Like, how'd you get arrested? Like,
well, my cousin, he was telling people about it. Then you know how it go when you tell people they think they can trust, and then they get into the wrong ears. Then they got into the ears of a confidential informant that I didn't even know at the time. And you know, they wind up coming get me. They wind up coming get me and questioning me. And
that was your first time going to like a real jail?
Yeah, well, it was the juvenile detention center at first. They tried me as an adult, and once I called my time, that's when they sent me to the adult prison. So I called my time in 2008. I was 16 years old, and they sent me to the adult prison. They gave me 15 years. Yeah.
So what was your thought process when you first went in? Like, did you think it was just something you want to, like, not get charged for? Yeah,
I was thinking the most they could give me is till I'm 18. I'm like, the most they can give me till I'm 18. And honestly, I confessed to everything because somebody was with me at the time. They was older. They could have got more time. So I was thinking, like, you know.
That helped them out.
Yeah, I should take the charge. You know what I mean? I thought I was doing the right thing. I'm like, I should take the charge or whatever. Because it could have been a lot worse, especially for them. So how was that process for your mom? Oh, it was hard. It was hard for her. We used to always bump heads a lot because, again, I was in the streets, and she taught me right from wrong. You know, she did everything she had to do as a mother to raise a young boy. You know, she did all the right things. But I think, in a way, it brought us closer. It brought us closer because at that moment I realized that everything she was telling me wasn't the wrong thing. Like, the things she was telling me about the guys I was hanging out with and, you know, stay out of the streets and do the right thing. That was the moment I realized that she always had my best interest. And everybody I was running in the streets with, nobody was there for me. Like, during my incarceration, none of the dudes I, was running with, they wasn't there. So that really taught me a lot about people and about, like, your loved ones, like your mom, like, that's your rock. That's all you got, So when you were in jail and then juvenile detention center, and then they told you about how much time you was going to have to serve, like, what was your reaction to that? I thought it was the end of the world. I'm like, man, I was 16 years old. I didn't even make it to high school at the time, so I missed out on prom. I missed out on everything. So I was thinking, like, man, it's the end of the world. Like, the world was going to pass me up. And I don't know, I just felt like I felt like God wasn't, like, turned his back on me in a way. Even though I did what I did, but I still was crying out and praying, to be free. But I didn't become free, so I thought that, I don't know, I just thought it was over for me. Like, that was the end. That was the end. I thought it was the end. But it really was like a new beginning for me. Yeah.
So where did they transfer you to?
At first I I went to Hunt's at first, Hunt Correctional Center, and I went there for the processing, and I stood there for a couple of weeks, and then I went to DCI. Yeah, I went to DCI, Dixon Correctional Institute. I went there after I stayed there. I was in a youth offender program. I stayed there for close to a year, and I left after that and went back to Hunt's, and that's where I served most of my sentence. But while I was at DCI, that's where I learned how to box and stuff. While I was there, I learned how to box.
So when did it really like settle in for you, like that you were gonna have to serve so many years?
I would say when I really when I got transferred, not from the parish, but I got transferred from juvenile to the adult parish facility. But when I got transferred to the adult upstate prison, that's when it really set in. Like, man, I'm really up here. Like, because you see all the fences, like the towers with the people, and that with the guns and stuff. And, I'm in there with people that's been in there for, like, I'm talking to people, they've been in there 15 years, 10 years. And I'm like, man, these people really in here doing time. Like, it's real. And that's when it really set in. Like, man, like, I'm really in here. And I really got a lot of time to do. There's something in my rap sheet because they send everybody their rap sheet. And this was like 2008, 2009, and my out date at the time was like 2021. And it was like, damn, how the hell I couldn't even see it. I couldn't understand.
So far ahead.
Yeah, it was so far ahead, and I was so young, and I'm like, damn, I got all this time. But even though I had all that time, I had faith that I wasn't gonna do all that time, and I was gonna get out before. I just had that belief, and I'm like, man, I ain't gonna do all this time.
Yeah.
I was still optimistic. Yeah.
So did you get to like get your GED or anything?
While I was in there, I got my GED. I got certified as a welder. I went to HVAC, air conditioning, refrigeration. I was speaking. I was part of the Toastmasters International Organization. It helps you with public speaking. I was a part of a lot of like self-help programs, like anger management, and things like I took leadership classes. So I did a lot of things while I was there. I got my serve safe. That's dealing with like preparing foods and stuff, and cross contamination and stuff like that. So I pretty much got everything that the prison had to offer. I got everything they had to offer.
And you say you started boxing in there?
Yeah, I started boxing there, and that was my love while I was in there. I boxed in there, and I got the belt. I had got the belt, and I had the belt for like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was the champion in there. But everybody that know me from there know me from boxing, and like being positive, speaking, and stuff like that.
So when y'all do boxing, y'all go to other prisons, right?
Yeah, we travel to other prisons, and it's like every month we'll travel to a different prison, and like the people from the outside, they can come in, like our family and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and it helped me out a lot to release, and to me it was like my therapy and a source of freedom. Even though I was in there, it was something that kept me focused and kept me strong, like kept me motivated. Yeah.
Why do you feel like you didn't continue on with boxing?
A lot of reasons, actually. I came home. I fought pro. Yeah. I fought pro for a few years. Yeah, I turned pro. I went 10-0 as an amateur. I fought pro. I think the biggest thing that got in the way for me was life. Life got in the way. I got with somebody. She had kids, and we took things serious. And I was trying to just be a father and help her take care of her kids. And when you're starting out boxing, you don't really have, unless you've known, you don't really have a big support system, that can help you take care of your bills and stuff like that. So I was making money. I started making money, but I was making starting off $800 a fight. And I was fighting every few months whenever I could find a fight. So it wasn't that much money I was making. Yeah, so I just got tired of being broke and asking people for money.
So you didn't try to get a regular job or anything?
I did. I had a job on the side just to help me, to train enough. Yeah. I got impatient. I got tired of waiting, and I was like, man, I'm just ready to make some money and be comfortable because I never did that for myself since I've been home. Yeah, it was just I came home. and I went straight to boxing.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I came home, I went to focus on boxing, trying to make it, but it was just too slow. And also, I was thinking, like, I'm really talented in boxing, and I know I can make it, but I feel like the risk isn't worth the reward because I have a lot more to offer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Than to be sacrificing because all it takes is one punch and it could really be, that's all it takes. So I think like, exactly. I ain't trying to be like that. You know what I mean? So I feel like I can contribute more to the world other than getting in the ring and taking a lot of punishment. Yeah. You know, so nah.
So let's touch a little more on like you serving your time. So you served 10 years. So what do you feel like helped you get through those 10 years?
Definitely God. Like I was always a spiritual person, so I know God always been with me. I know He always been with me, and I know that was happening for a reason. So I would say God. Also, I did a lot of reading. Like while I was in, I did a lot of reading, and prison to me was like my college. That's the way I looked at it. It's like, you know, I'm gonna utilize this opportunity to make me a better person because I ain't just want to waste all that time, all them years I was in there. Yeah. You know, I ain't want to waste time. So to me, it was like, you know, I'm gonna make this situation beneficial to me. So definitely God, studying, educating myself, my loved ones, boxing for sure, and working out, you know, like exercising and stuff.
What do you feel like was like one of the biggest issues for like any other prisons that you went to?
What you mean, like the biggest issues?
Like, I guess like sanitary or health or safety.
I would say health reasons because if you get sick or anything in there, they really don't take care of you. They do the bare minimum. You have to really be almost dying for them to even take you to a real hospital.
Yeah.
So,
did you have any health problems while you were incarcerated?
I didn't. I thought I was at one time because I was on extended lockdown for a while. For something I didn't even do, but I was on lockdown for a while for like, and that's when you're in a cell 23 hours out of 24 hours in a day and you get out maybe an hour. So I was on lockdown on 23-1 for about 6 months. And I used to like eat and lay down and when you eat and lay down, like they give you acid reflux problems. So I was having those problems. And I never experienced that because I was so young at the time. So I was thinking I was having like some kind of
heart attack.
Yeah, heart attack. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I thought I was tripping. So I was telling people, I'm like, man, something ain't right. I feel my heart skipping beats. I'm like, man, something ain't right. You know. So eventually they took me and nothing was wrong, but it took a lot. I had to go through right people.
Take you serious.
Yeah, for them to take me serious because they thought I was just playing, you know. But I was like, no, I'm not playing. But they wound up taking me. But I would say the biggest thing in there is maintaining your health, because if you don't maintain your health, your mental health or your physical health, then that's it. You know, your chances of making it is slim to none.
Yeah. So how was it for you, like adjusting, going to prison so young?
I adjusted well because even though I was so young, I always carried myself a certain way. Like I was hanging with older people when I was home, so it made me like more mature. You know, I adjusted well. The way, like I say, the way I carried myself, like nobody never played with me in that way. I had homosexuals come at me and try to go their move on me, but I'm talking about like me being young and somebody trying to like intimidate me in a way. Like they never played with me that way. Yeah. So I adjusted pretty good. And I made, you know, bonds and develop relationships with the right type of people in there, because my motto was like, if you're not on no positive stuff, if you're not trying to better yourself, then I can't really be around you, because I know going in that situation, that's not what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't do the same thing and expect different results. You know what I mean? So I had to change something. I know that I had to change, first off, my mindset. I had to change my company. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't around those kind of people. And those kind of people respected me just because of the way I conducted myself and the self-respect I had, you know. And I respected everybody. So I guess in return, I got that same respect back. You know, yeah.
Did you have like family support? Was people coming to see you?
Yeah, I had a lot of family support. My mom was there for me every step of the way. She was there. I had a few girlfriends at the time too. Yeah, I had a few little female friends, and you know, I'm fortunate they was there for me.
The whole sentence, or you had like switch it up?
I mean, I had somebody the whole sentence. Like somebody was always there for me my whole sentence. First of all, my family was there. My mom, my sister, my immediate family. They was always there for me.
That's good.
Yeah, and I always had friends, female companions and stuff like that. A couple partners, you know, here and there.
How'd you meet the females? Were you like pen pals or? They already knew you.
Well, yeah, a lot of them already knew me, but one in particular that I became real serious with. First of all, I used to work in a prison on the weekends. I used to work in a visiting shade. I used to take pictures, and I used to help with the concession stuff. So I had met one of my, like I said, we was together for maybe like 4 years before I came home. Mm-hmm. I met her on the weekend visiting her brother. I met her up there. And I met her along the way, but all the other like my friends and stuff, I've been knowing them since before I went in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one that stayed through the 10-year ride, are y'all still? Was it still a thing when y'all got out, or?
Yeah, we still like. I talked to a couple of them, and you know it was cool. Like we talked and stuff. And I still talk to them every now and then.
That's good.
But yeah, everybody kind of living their life. But they do know that I really appreciate them, you know, sticking there with me, and that I always got their back no matter what. You know what I mean?
So through the 10 years, like what was one of your like darkest days?
I would say one of my darkest days was, I would say, my great grandmother died while I was in there. Mm-hmm. Even though I was a lot younger to really be around her before I went in and to really develop a relationship. Losing a loved one is hard. My great grandmother died. The time when I first got sentenced, that was really like a dark moment for me. But also, like when I was on extended lockdown, like I said, it's 23-1. Like you on lockdown for 23 hours out of the day, and you get a day out to maybe go on the yard inside of a cage fence that ain't even that big. But one of my dark days was, like I said, I was on lockdown, and it was at night, and at that moment I realized like I was at the lowest point you can get in life before death. Like that's the worst it can, to me, that was the worst it can get before death. And I was like, man, like this the worst it can get. Like this the lowest. Talk about rock bottom. That was like rock bottom, literally. You know what I mean? And it just made me think, like, you know, man, I want better. Like I would never put myself in this position again, to be in a situation like this, to compromise my freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never do that to myself again. Yeah. So that was one of the darkest days I had, when I realized that I was at rock bottom, like at the lowest point that I can get before death. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
So you were like appealing your case along the way? Like how did your time get reduced?
Well, yeah. I was appealing my case. Man, when I tell you they denied everything, like I was, from day one I was trying to go back, reconsideration, amend and modify. I was trying everything. When I tell you they was denial after denial after denial after denial. But to show you how God worked, this was 2017, and one of my partners, like childhood people from my neighborhood, he mysteriously got in contact with me. First of all, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. I was speaking at an event that we had, because we used to have a lot of events like giving back, you know, like trying to motivate the population, stuff like that. Like when I was in there, and the lady after my speech, the lady was like, she was a Christian lady, but she was like, "You're not gonna be in here much longer." She was like, "You about to leave." She was like, "You about to go home," and I don't think stuff like that happens by coincidence. So I had believed that. I'm like, well, damn. I'm like, I was just tripping. I was thinking, I'm like, man, that's, for her to just come walk up to me and tell me some stuff like that. To make a long story short, somebody I've been knowing since I was young, And he was older than me, but I looked it up to him at the time. But he went to prison a lot. I was a lot younger when he went to prison. And out of the blue, he was trying to get in contact with me. He reached out to my sister, and he was like, man, tell Dartrell I want to come visit him. So I'm like, okay. So I sent him, the visiting paper and stuff like that. So came up there, we just talking, we running it, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, visiting. So he was like, I was telling him, I'm like, man, my judge, bro, he giving me a hard time. Like, man, I got St. Pierre. He was like, St. Pierre? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, man, that's my friend. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, all right, that's what's up. And he was like, no. I'm like, man. He was like, that's really like my friend. I'm like, man, you serious? He was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to him. So when you're in prison, you get used to people telling you stuff and not coming through, like letting you down. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to see. So he kept his word, man. If he came see me on that Saturday, I'm going to say that Monday, he sent me a message because we had, we could receive emails and stuff through JPay. So I had a message, and it was from him, and he was like, man, I talked to him, and he was telling me, like, man, soon, soon he gonna try to do something for you soon. So I wound up filing, another motion to amend and modify. He granted it. To make a long story short, from the time that lady said that, within, 3 months, I was home.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, so I had a 15-year sentence, so they amended my charge. They amended my sentence from 15 years to 10 years. They gave me the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got immediate release.
So how did that feel in that moment? Because you kind of had a build up, but you probably didn't think it was going to go that fast.
Yeah, at that moment, honestly, I felt like, man, I felt like I deserve it, but also, I felt like it's part of what I manifested, because while I was in there, I was doing a lot of educating myself and studying, and I was studying the universal laws, the law of attraction and stuff like that. So it was like I had a partner in there, and we was studying this material together, and we would play games with each other, everything we was thinking about, man, I want some coffee, man, some Colombian coffee in a gold pack, that's because we knew what kind of coffee that was. It was a good coffee because we drank coffee, and man, before you know it, somebody was coming with a gold pack of coffee that we was talking about. Mm-hmm. It was like every single thing we was talking about, it was coming through. And I'm like, man, you know what? Man, I'm about to try to, manifest my freedom. Yeah. So I started focusing on my freedom. Don't get me wrong, I was still doing what I had to do in there.
Yeah, of course.
Taking classes, rehabilitating myself.
You still gotta take the steps,
yeah, staying out of trouble, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, man, I'm about to really try to focus on this. So I was focused on that for a while, and I was becoming discouraged because it wasn't happening. When I thought it was going to happen, I was like, man, I don't know. It's not happening. But I just kept focusing on it, kept talking about it, kept imagining myself being free, kept dreaming about it, kept imagining my judge amending my time from 15 to 10 years, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say I kind of expected it because, like I was telling you, since the beginning, I was telling myself, I'm not going to do all this time. Mm-hmm. I just knew I wasn't going to do all that time, and I just planted that into my subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it became reality.
Manifest me $1 million.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Listen, I'm trying right now. I'm working on that as we speak. Yeah, listen, I'm working on that.
No, I believe in manifestation too. It's the power in the tongue and all that. So
yeah, I really live by that, and I don't people that know me. They'll tell you I don't even play and say certain stuff because words have power. Thoughts are things, and when we say things, we send them out to the universe, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? We can't take back the energy we send out. So
yeah. So you said immediate release. So were you at court and then?
No, they still had to process my paperwork, so they told me immediate release. So I went back and
Did you have anybody there with you in court? Anybody showed up? I know, it'd be a lot of court days, so people probably don't show up every time. But.
Yeah, nobody showed up.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody showed up. But
so just a moment you had to soak in for yourself.
Yeah, and it was crazy because it's man, during all that time I did in there, I always imagined myself in the courtroom, back in front of my judge, getting re-sentenced. I was imagining that. Yeah. It was times I was going to sleep. Well, before I go to sleep, visualizing being in front of my judge and him saying, I re-sentenced you to 10 years. And they had nothing but positive things to say. My judge had nothing but positive things to say. my DA, the man that prosecuted me, had nothing but great things to say about me,
Yeah.
about all the things I did since I've been in there.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, we still communicate with each other. And, he still let me know that he's proud of me. And this is the man that looked at me like I was a criminal at one time, But he can see that I really took advantage of the situation and I allowed it to make me a better person, so.
Okay, so after you got released, like, how was that process? Like, was it hard for you to kind of adjust being back in the free world?
Yeah, honestly, it was really, really difficult because the world was evolving fast. It had evolved fast. It changed a lot. But even though I was in prison, I was around some good people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I trained myself to see the best in people, to make good decisions and stuff like that. One of the hardest things was adjusting to the ways of people. Like, people would really try to take advantage of you, really try to snake you, or people's really out for themselves. Like, it's really survival of the fittest, especially being in New Orleans. And that has a lot to do with why I left that environment, because it's saturated with a lot of negativity, a lot of hate.
In the bucket.
Yeah, and I'm not that kind of person. I don't like to be around those kind of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to get around more like-minded people, because being down there is like a shark in a fish tank. So I've been outgrown that environment, and I had to leave. And coming to Houston, like, I was able to blossom even more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was able to blossom even more coming to Houston.
So what was your process from coming from jail? Like, did you go stay with family, or they had some set up for you?
Yeah, I stayed with my mom's for a couple months. And, like, I stayed with her a couple months. She helped me out, but I was ready to be on my own. She was still trying to get me to stay, but I was like, nah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
That's when I met my girl at the time, and I moved with her and things before you know it. Yeah,
Couples moving in, they ain't married.
Yeah. Never work out. Nah. No, but we wound up getting married and it still didn't work out.
Really?
Yeah, I still try to, do the right thing, but it didn't work out.
Did y'all have any children?
I have a kid, but not for her.
Okay.
We didn't have any kids together, but before we got together, I had a possible kid. I didn't know if he was mine or not, but he was mine. Okay. So, yeah.
So how old was he?
At the time, he was... No, at the time, he wasn't even born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the time, he wasn't even born.
I'll make sure you didn't have it before you went into prison. That, like, you came out, you got a 11-year-old son.
No.
It happens.
No, I had, and I hate to say it, but I did have kids I was supposed to have, but we were so young at the time, and they got abortions and stuff. Yeah, but, so... Yeah, I was supposed to have kids, but I don't have... Well, I didn't have any before going in. Yeah, but yeah.
So do you feel like you're institutionalized at all?
I don't think I am, because while I was in there, I kept my mind free. Like, my body was in there, but my mind was free. That's why I always read. I always communicated with people on the outside. And my biggest fear was being institutionalized. That was my greatest fear. So I made sure that I did everything I had to do to not become institutionalized. But I think in some ways, maybe I still live in my head some, like a little bit, because I'm used to being alone. I'm kind of a loner. But I know a lot of people, like, I'm friends with a lot of people. A lot of people like me, but I'm still like, I'm like a popular loner. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how are you popular? How do people know you?
Well, I don't know. Like, it's like, since I was young, right? Since I was young, I just know a lot of people. I just know a lot of people. People knew me as bad when I was like little badass Dartrell or whatever. People know me when I was bad. They know that I got into some trouble, because I used to get around a lot. Even though I was young, I used to get around a lot. I know a lot of people.
So did you gain popularity also from boxing?
Yeah, that too. From boxing, when I come home, just my story, like, people know my story. Me going in there, me being like just lost, and coming home and being positive, boxing, like, speaking, trying to help the youth. You know what I mean? So people kind of know my story, and so it was like,
Do you feel like you picked up any habits from prison that you still like do today?
Yeah, kinda. I still eat fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I eat fast, but people that
So
do
you
be
be
like,
everybody be looking around you like they like slow
yeah, I'm
down.
going
Yeah.
in, but then a few minutes is gone. But
Yeah.
I don't be thinking I eat fast. I think I eat normal.
Yeah.
But
I eat fast too, so
right,
yeah.
so I would
It just
say
be good, like
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's my
What
if
we
I
waiting for?
yeah, I ain't trying to look cute. If I
Yeah.
want to eat, I'm about to eat. You
I
know what
learned
I
that
mean?
too though, but they were saying like it's bad for your digestion. Like take your time, slow down. Like
I see.
I just yeah, you get good, start mixing it together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get in my zone, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it happened. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you didn't so you had a kid. So do you feel like y'all have a good relationship now?
we do not, and
Okay.
it's crazy because um, it it made me like right now. I love kids. I really, really love kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole process of because even though I missed out on that or those moments. I still was blessed to be in a child's life that wasn't mine and be a stepfather and still kind of raise them as a kid because I know as a kid how it feels to not have a father figure.
Yeah.
So my thought is always if I could be a blessing to a kid, I'll be a blessing to a kid. Because
Yeah.
I remember being that kid with no father and I know how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's the crazy thing is like when you don't want to be with people when people can't get what they want from you then they tend to use whatever they can to like try to bring you down to try to make your life hard. So I said all that to say I think the fact that first of all we was never together and I was honest with her about me just coming from prison. I needed time. Like I wasn't trying to be with nobody. I was honest with her.
Yeah.
But feelings got involved, when you do things you're not supposed to be doing with so called friends,
Mm-hmm.
feelings get involved and that's what happened. So it's like she tried even to this day to still and my son just made 6 like in July.
Mm-hmm.
She still tried like to use she just want money to use him against me, like child support, like just the whole
Trying to hold you back, kind of your process.
yeah
Yeah.
to try to hold me back. But the ironic thing is she's been doing that all in her power to hold me back. Like I'm out here in Texas by myself. I've been out here for years by myself, no help. I don't get government assistance. I don't get food stamps. I don't get none of that. But I'm still blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still evolving. And she can't seem to get it right. She's still in the same position, if not a worse position than when I first met her.
Yeah.
But that go to show you the mindset. Like when you have a positive mindset and you don't have a hateful mindset and you're not trying to be petty, like that also matters in life when you're trying to be successful. If you're trying to send out energy to hold somebody back for them, hating on them, for them to not move forward, the whole while you could be holding yourself back.
Yeah.
So I think
You like attracting negativity to yourself, trying
yes.
to throw it on somebody else.
Yeah, because I've experienced a lot of negativity from people that I trusted, I love, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That I try to be I'm not perfect, but I try to be the best version of myself to these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they do all in their power to try to bring me down, but they still can't bring me down. So
Yeah.
yeah.
With you having your record, do you feel like it was hard for you to like get employment or like have you feel like you missed a lot of opportunities because you have a record?
Yeah, it was definitely hard. Like when I first came home, I was trying to do everything the right way. I was being honest on like resumes and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody was giving me a chance. Nobody was giving me a chance. So I had to start kind of tweaking my resumes a little bit, like lying on them. Then I kind of got a little job. Well, the first job I got was from my sponsor from boxing. He had his own car shop, like mechanic shop.
Okay.
So he just created a job and gave it to me just so
Yeah,
I
so
could
have something, yeah.
yeah have a little money coming in and time to train. And I did that for a while. I was doing that, and then my first official job after that, I was a maintenance guy at like some luxury apartments
Mm-hmm.
in New Orleans. I was maintenance, and then after that, I got my CDLs. I started like driving trucks and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that I did that after well while I was boxing, I got my CDLs, but I was driving dump trucks and stuff like that. And after I quit, that's when I went like over the road and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I moved down here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I did have a question when you said about the girlfriend you had and then you
yeah,
were saying that you told her that you just got out of prison and stuff.
yeah.
So do you feel like they had the same jail talk. So do you feel like people should take time to let, whether whoever's getting released and whoever's dating the person get released, we feel like they should give them a little time to kind of get out and adjust before they try to hop into a relationship. 'Cause I feel like people do a lot of jail talk and then they get out and then reality hits them and it's like, I didn't think it was gonna be X, Y, Z. You know?
Yeah, I think so because while being in that predicament or that situation, people feel lonely and they feel like they need somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that the world is going to be the same way when we left. We think it's going to be that same way. We think we know these people, we know the world. But everything I thought it was going to be was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Everything I imagined, it was nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought I was ready for certain things to be in certain situations, but when those situations happen, my reaction was different because it was something I never experienced. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think people should take their time because you have to really get to know people, their background, their mental health, their family. It's really important to get to know these people because
It's a part of who they are.
yeah, and I got myself, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I got myself hooked up with the wrong people, and if you're not mindful, you will get hooked up with the wrong people. Like the wrong people will pursue you because that's what happened. They was pursuing me, and I thought it was something special. Like, oh, a woman is pursuing me, but they had ulterior motives. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, I think they should really take their time and like be safe and don't try not to get caught up with nobody until after you really did a thorough background investigation on these people
Mm-hmm.
because it's really that serious. Like people is really, 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 really evil and really petty. And I look at things spiritually. I don't think it's people. Is because it's either two things. Either you're gonna follow the light or you're gonna follow the darkness. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think a lot of people unconsciously, without even knowing, I think a lot of people are working for the enemy and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
Like so, they got a lot of bad spirits attached to them. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And they just moving wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I would say it's real important and imperative to get to know whoever it is that you're sleeping with, you're laying down with, and really get to know these people.
And let them get out and, I guess get to know themselves because, like you said, you went in at 16, so coming out as a grown man, you need time to adjust to like being a man. You didn't
Yeah,
have time to be in the world and be an adult.
right, right. I think that's important because when you're in a relationship, it's just not about you no more.
Exactly.
Relationship is a collective effort. And it's just not about you. You have to be selfless. You have to be show empathy for the other person, emotional availability. And I think that everybody that does time owes themselves time to get on their feet. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Time to focus on themselves, to be selfish.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you coming out here, you're gonna need time to focus on yourself to get yourself established. Because when you with somebody, you can't focus all that time and energy and attention on them because the moment you not, it's gonna be problems, especially a woman. If you're not
You're not
give
affectionate. You're not this.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then they want you to come home. It's like you're trying to control them. All that
yeah.
stuff.
And I've dealt with a lot of that feeling like a woman is trying to control me because it's
She want
like
the normal things though. But it
yeah,
don't feel normal to y'all. But it's like
yeah, and it's
that's
like
normal things.
right, and it's like the moment I want to step out, with my little personal time, it might be some conflict or whatever.
You're like, why you don't want to be around me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it ain't even like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's just like, man, it's not like that.
Yeah.
But that's the way they perceive it. So nobody wants to be alone, but I think everybody owes themselves time to really get established and to really get to where they need to be and to find themselves and to discover themselves. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think everybody owe themselves that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So how's life for you today? Like,
Oh, life is great. It's great. It's progressing. It's great. Like yeah, it's great.
yeah,
Life is great. That's what I'm
that's
gonna
good.
say.
Yeah.
Life is great. Yeah.
So you got a good job and you stay in Houston. You don't have
Yeah.
any more kids.
Yeah. No, don't have any kids. I'm living in Houston, and like I said, it's progressing. I'm leaning more into entrepreneurship and really what I'm really trying to do is put more time and energy into my talents and the things it is that I want to do and the things I feel like that's tied to my purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because work is work. You know, we got bills to pay, we got responsibilities, but I don't think working a job is someone's purpose. Like that ain't just
Well,
purpose.
there's some people, everybody don't want to be like a star,
I
have
get
their own
it.
business.
That's
I guess
true.
you have to have the workers to, I guess, help your dreams. Like you're gonna have to have people that like show up for you every day to keep whatever you have going.
Right. And I believe that's true, but at the same token, there's greatness within everyone. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I feel like everyone, we don't come here just to live. Excuse me. We don't come here just to live, to work and die. I don't
Yeah.
believe that. I believe every life
Has
have
a
a
bigger purpose.
purpose, a
Yeah.
bigger purpose. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be a star. You're gonna have $1 million, but everybody's special, and I believe that everybody should believe that they're special and that they have purpose. And if the world was that way and more people believed in themselves a little more, I think the world would be a better place. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
this podcast is dedicated to the youth. So, for any youth that might be out there getting in trouble or leading themselves down the wrong road, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say, think before you act. Think before you act. Think before you act and be patient. Think before you act and be patient. Decision making is very important because we don't realize that for every cause there's an effect, and for every action there's an exact opposite reaction. There's laws that govern the universe, just like there's these man-made laws. Like, there's laws that govern the universe, and as long as we're putting out good energy and we doing the right things and we putting energy into the things that we want to happen and that we want to do, eventually it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that's successful, they'll tell you the only reason that they successful is because they never gave up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to the youth that may be trying to find their way, surround yourself around good people. Always believe in yourself. Think positive, because positive things, the way thoughts work, when we think, we send those out to the universe, and the universe materializes them through our reality. So when we think positive things and we say positive things, speak positive things, surround ourselves around positive people, positive things are going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say surround yourself around positive people and believe in yourself and know that you're great, because if we can believe it and perceive it, if we can conceive it and if we perceive it and can see it, we can achieve it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that sounds cliche, but I'm a living witness. I'm living proof that you can see something and that it can be a grand thing, but you can materialize it. Like, I did it over and over. Like I say, with material things, I did it with my freedom. Since I've been home, I've been manifesting like my life. I've been envisioning what I want, and it's been happening. You know what I'm saying?
If you can see it, it's happening.
Yeah, not just that. I've been putting the work in. I ain't gonna say I just see it, just daydream all day.
Yeah.
I've been putting the work in, and sometimes I get caught up. I get caught up in emotions, forgetting that like reality is a projection. Reality is my projection, a projection of my mind. I be forgetting that sometimes. Like, we could really change the situation if we know that we control it. If we know how to use our mind, utilize our thoughts and our imagination, we could really change our situation and put ourselves in a better predicament, in a better situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we really powerful. People don't know that they're powerful, but we really powerful and we have power. You know what I'm saying? But when we tap into that power, we can really control our destiny with the help of God, our destiny and our reality. You know what I'm saying? We could put ourselves in a better situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, closing remarks. I just want to say, man, again, be the change you want to see in the world. You know what I'm saying? That was a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. But be the change you want to see in the world. Be great. Always believe in yourself. And don't be afraid to be different, and don't be afraid to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? All the great things that happen in life came because people believed in themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People went against what they thought was normal. People stood up. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to stand up for something right. And don't be afraid of your own greatness. You know what I mean? Be great. So that's what I would say. And believe in yourself. Think positive. Be positive. See positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And love everyone. Love. Spread love.
Spread love.
Yeah. Right. You
Well,
know what I'm
thank
saying?
you so much for taking the time out your day to come do this interview. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below. And we'll have a new episode bi-weekly. Peace.